Exactly,
Yeah,
good.
okay.
Good. So the point is this. Anything that you buy, most things that you buy comes with a guide, like how to
Yeah.
use it. Good. You as a human being, you need to acknowledge that there has to be a higher being that's created you.
No,
Okay, where did you come from?
my mother. What do
Okay,
you
where's
mean?
your mom come from?
Her mother.
Okay, and where did her mom come from?
Her
It'll go on
mother.
forever, exactly. So what I'm saying is, you don't believe in God?
But listen, but then
Yeah.
you can apply the same principle to what you just said,
Yeah.
with there being a high level being, but you just reflect the question. Because if I say, where did God come from, right? You'll say he's always been there. You just reflect.
Not reflect, he has to be all there, because if you come and say that who created him, then he's not God anymore.
Yes, but when you try and disprove the science,
What science? What science got to do
just
with God?
wait. If you try and disprove what's the word? Like there's two theories of life, innit? There's God or there's science. If you try
No.
and disprove science,
No.
right, then the same reasoning you use to disprove science, you can use to disprove God. The thing is with you, you'll just say, oh yeah, God has to be there the whole time.
I'll bring evidence. Science does not conflict God. Richard Darwin. Yes, you know
Yeah.
Darwin, yeah?
Yeah, evolution.
Darwin. Read Darwin's book. Darwin always believed in God. He said, when my faith fluctuated at its highest, I never not believed in God. So he believed in God.
but most
Science and God doesn't contradict each other.
Most of scientists believe in God purely for the reason that there was no reason not to believe in God.
I'll give
You
you-
don't lose anything for believing in God. That's why they believed in God.
Science and God is not contradictory. Science deals with the observable reality. Science doesn't deal with the metaphysical. So what I'm saying is the following, very simply. You, for example, are you composed of DNA?
Yes.
Okay, what is DNA? DNA is information.
Yeah.
DNA is information, the fact that you look, the way you look and the way I look, and the other animals and beings in our world. Yeah, okay, that information requires intelligence.
What do you mean by that?
If I give you a book,
Yeah.
does the book have information?
Yes.
Information requires an intelligent person that wrote it.
Sure.
Good.
But the data has always been there
No, 1 second. Where does the data even come from?
from our parents.
No. I'm talking about from the very beginning. DNA, the first cell we're talking about, a first cell has a nucleus, okay? Where DNA, there's genes, and there's genome, and there's genes, and inside those genes there are DNA.
Yeah.
DNA has information, meaning
Yes.
the way you look, and the way I look, the way our ears
But
stop here, it's information.
But plants also contain DNA
Good.
of how they are formed.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is the following. If there is information, there has to be intelligence. Right or wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Okay, tell me why I'm wrong.
You're wrong. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like, you can't tell me, right, that God exists, but evolution is real, because they
What's
conflict
evolution?
each other.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it
Darwin
does.
is the one who came with the evolution
Yes.
theory. Evolution has got nothing to do with God. You need to understand the following. Evolution doesn't take God out of the picture, because it goes back to where did the first cell come from.
Yeah.
The first cell, it either came from something, or it can't be anything else. It can't be came from nothing.
It came from algae.
Okay, what is algae?
Algae, I don't know how to describe
No,
algae.
exactly. The first cell is a very complex thing. The first cell, like I said to you before, do you know recent studies show, they talk about the random mutation. There is no random mutation, there is targeted mutation, meaning the cell actually communicates, the cell membrane around it,
Yeah.
and there's the nucleus in the middle, yeah?
Yeah.
Which has the genomes and the genes and the DNA.
Yep.
They are listen to me, tube-like systems in place
Yep.
that send information from the membrane to the nucleus. Let me ask you a question. It's the following. Imagine my hand as being the nucleus,
Yeah.
and Scotland is where the membrane is of the cell. There is information being sent down to the nucleus. I'll ask you a simple question. There's movement happening. What is telling these it's called tubulins, yeah? Something like that. Who is telling this information to travel to, 1 second, we are made out of cells. You are made out of cells. Who is giving this information to these beings, these little creatures, nano level, yeah? To travel to the cell.
One second.
Sorry.
Yeah, carry on.
Who is giving the information to these cells to operate in that
Listen,
manner?
you're clearly far more educated than me.
No, it's
so
not
I
about education.
can't,
Look,
it is
I'm not
about
trying
education.
to outsmart you. I'm saying
I'm
use
not-
your logic.
I'm not
You're
saying,
smart.
I'm not
You
saying
are
you're
smart.
trying to outsmart me. The thing is, if I was far more educated, I'd be able to argue this with a purpose. The
No.
fact that I'm not as educated as you,
I
right?
promise you are an intelligent
No.
man. You don't need to be intelligent.
I'm not saying I'm not intelligent. I'm
You-
just saying I'm less educated on the
Listen.
subject itself.
If I went to my little daughter, my daughter would say, all this has to come from somewhere. It's not. Don't say it's about matter of intelligence, because you are a smart, intelligent guy. I'm telling you very simple. Would you accept the following? Can 0 ever equal 1? Nothing. Can ever something come from nothing?
0 can equal 1 if 0 to the power 0 equals 1.
0 is the absence of something.
But 0 is fictional. If you look at
Okay.
mathematics, 0
Good,
is
good.
not real.
It's abstract. Okay, now, I'm talking to you about nothing. Nothing is the absence of something. There is not a single thing there.
Sure.
How could you get something from nothingness? Impossibility. 0 cannot equal 1. So the point I'm saying is you don't need to be a genius. You know, if the universe began to exist, which did, if you're going to go by science, they say the universe began to exist. What caused it to begin?
The Big Bang.
No. The Big Bang is the explosion. What caused it to explode?
This is what I'm saying.
There has to be a... Look, I say,
But yeah,
which one's more reasonable?
We don't have a fucking clue why the Big Bang came the way it came, right?
I
But we
don't-
also
I
don't
don't-
have a fucking clue how God came the way he came. You can't tell me he's been there forever, because that just doesn't... That doesn't work around the concept of time. There's no way that God has been there
You can.
forever.
Infinity, you can.
Yeah,
For
cool.
God, he can.
But then, if he has been there forever, why did he choose to make Earth when he made Earth? Why did he make it like 100,000 years beforehand?
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Okay, you're talking about why God did a certain thing, but it doesn't take God out of the picture. If I come and say to you, what's your name again?
Brian.
I'm going to say I don't believe in Brian because Brian did something that doesn't make sense to me. Brian doesn't exist.
But you can see me. I'm physically here. You could touch me. You could see me. You
I
can
can-
see God.
I can say-
God is a fictional being. In
I
your
can say I'm
mind
in the
that
Matrix.
you believe.
I think I'm in a GTA game, and I think you
Cool.
don't exist.
Cool.
I can go down that route. I can come and say, I don't think you're real. I don't think I'm talking to you. Maybe I'm talking to
There's
nothing.
enough
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
there is enough proof to
Good.
suggest that I am real. There is
Thank you.
no proof
Good.
to suggest that God is real.
There is more proof that God exists than you exist. There's more proof. You
No,
exist
there
and proof
isn't.
God exists. Yes.
Okay,
Let
give
me tell you
me
something.
one piece of proof. I can't lie.
Very simple, very simple, very simple. I'll make it very simple, yeah? I talked to you about the DNA.
Yeah.
I said to you, DNA is a molecule
But
that
you-
has
But
information.
you saying that something is very complex does not prove that God exists. That is you stating that is very complex.
No. I'm telling you, for example, let me give you an example, yeah? Of bacteria.
Yeah.
Bacteria have a tail. It's called a flagella.
Yeah,
Okay,
cool.
now there's a biologist called Michael Behe. Yes, he looks at the tail. They do a microscopic nano level. When I mean nano level, you know, in a teaspoon,
Yeah.
they can fit 4
know.
billion
I know what
of those
nano
flagellae.
level means, yeah.
Now, when they zoom in, they see that the tail has a motor. Do you know what a motor is? Okay, motor. You know that our car has a motor, our electronic toothbrush has a motor. There's many things that have a motor. You know a motor?
I'm not sure.
It's like a mini engine.
a motor.
A motor,
Oh,
for the
okay,
pronunciation.
My bad, I didn't understand.
Yeah, a motor. Yes, okay. Now they look and they see that it has 40 parts.
Okay.
Meaning the following: if one part was missing, it would not function. So that flagella, that tail, that propels the bacteria to travel a specific distance. The question is the following: if I showed you an engine of a Ferrari, would you say it's designed?
But you're.
I'm asking a simple question.
Said, but listen,
Would you say it's designed?
You've reiterated the same points that you basically just used. The I is too complex multiple times throughout this argument.
I'm just saying to you, if I showed you a
But
Ferrari,
you've used this argument several times. And
several times you fail to answer.
But you telling me
Yeah.
that something is too complex, right, does not prove that God exists. It's a fact stating that it is complex.
Let's
No,
figure,
he's
let's
basically making the point
I-
that if you see a design, like
Yes.
a motor or like
Yes.
even something
I'm
like
sorry,
a DNA,
I have to take this. This is the second time he's calling me.
it's fine, it's fine.
Give me 2 seconds. yeah.
saved by the bell.
I'll come back.
Come
I'll
on,
come back.
No, just kidding.
He's joking.
So basically, what he's trying to do is he's saying the process. Okay,
Yeah.
you're explaining the mechanism to
Yes.
him, but what you need to tell him
Yeah.
is that after behind everything that
Yes.
you see a design, in,
Yes.
there is an agent.
I told him
There's
that. I
intelligence
didn't
behind
even
it.
mention complex.
Yeah.
I didn't even say the word complex. My issue is that when we look at a motor, if you look at a car engine, it has certain parts in it that make it function the way it does. When we was doing a thing with Sabori yesterday about the flagella. The flagella is basically the tail that propels the bacteria to go. They, on a microscopic level, on a nano level, when you zoom in, it's a flipping motor, bro. Your mind will stop. And the question you ask is the following: if I was to show him that and said, this is something that's made by the Ferrari to propel the Ferrari argument, say, you say that's an intelligent guy, intelligent whatever. But the same thing, and by the way, these bacteria, you can fit 4 billion of them with that flagella on a teaspoon. So the question is, where did that come from? He's like, oh no. But
Actually, the example I use normally is the DNA.
yeah, same, I did the DNA. We went past that.
Yeah, so
we went past the DNA.
DNA is so
Yeah.
easy to understand.
Yes.
At the same time,
Yes.
you will have to agree that this is a code,
Yes.
and quite a complex code, not
Yes,
something
yes.
that's And behind every code, there must be someone who coded it.
Exactly.
Must be
Exactly.
there must be
exactly.
you see a program,
Yeah, yeah.
there must be a program.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's
Okay, I
the
got
magic.
like 5 minutes before my
Sorry,
friend
sorry,
comes.
sorry.
So carry
So
on.
no, in a nutshell, what I was saying is the following. When we was talking about that thing,
Yeah.
we're saying that it's composed of 40 pieces.
Yes.
Okay. And it's rev, like you have a car rev, RPM.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 20,000. Okay. Meaning the way that it activates, it works. Now the question I'm asking is the following. If I was to show you a Bugatti and I show you the engine, you will come and look at it and be like, that is a phenomenal design made by
Yeah.
somebody with a purpose.
And-
when I show you a
And
bacteria,
it is a fact that it is phenomenally designed, but it doesn't prove that God exists.
Okay,
You-
so
you-
does a design have a designer?
But this
Normally-
argument has been used so many times. If I was
But
more
it doesn't-
educated,
doesn't-
I'd be able to
So you have blind
literally
faith?
argue this.
No, but you don't need to. It's logic. Look,
But it's-
when you
it's-
see a
it's not
design,
logic.
for example, you see this design, somebody made it, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to say it just popped out of existence.
Cool.
So when you see design throughout the universe, including the most microscopic thing like a molecule or an atom, or even like a snowflake.
Cool.
You see, you
Yeah.
don't just say that all of this just popped into existence from
I'm
nowhere.
not saying it popped into
So
existence.
what is the cause then? What is the cause of all
you
this?
know what it is? You have blind faith in science.
No.
You know people say we have blind faith.
Listen.
Yeah.
I don't believe in much science. I don't believe in God and religion. I live the way I think life works. Therefore,
That's fine.
I'm not saying.
Could you be wrong?
Of course.
Okay, so
I'm
that's
not-
what
I'm
we're
not
trying to
saying I
talk
could
about.
be
If you don't
wrong.
have trust in your own self-
I'm saying in my reality, God doesn't exist.
Why
I'm
is
not,
that?
I'm not saying that science is 100% right, but I'm saying in my reality, God doesn't exist because that is a far-fetched idea with no proof.
Okay.
Science.
What kind of proof would you require in order to believe that there is a God? Let's see if you have a criteria.
You'd have to prove to me in some aspect.
No,
that
you said
God-
there is no proof. So I'm assuming.
No. Yeah, I'm saying there is no proof that God exists.
Bro, let me finish
So-
the statement. at least.
Okay, yeah, sure, my bad.
When you are looking for a proof, for example, if I asked you, have you lost your key? And if you say yes, you should know at least what the key looks like.
Yeah.
So you can identify it when you find it.
Yeah.
Okay, now if you were looking for God,
Yeah.
what proof would you require to say, okay, now I know that God exists?
Okay, so tell me this: how would you prove that God?
Answer the question, bro.
I'd need
You understood the question, right?
I'd need you to physically show me something that has ties to the idea of God being real.
Okay, when you are looking for something, anything, including God,
Look,
what are you looking for?
You
Exactly, you need a
I'll-
criteria,
I'll
right?
give you an example.
Camera,
If
fix it,
Jesus
fix it.
was real at
We
some
moved.
point in
Fix
time,
the camera.
that would be proof that God exists because he did miracles. He did miracles which were beyond reality.
So you believe
right?
in Jesus?
No, I'm saying.
What's the point of
Let me
example?
finish. Let me
Yeah,
finish.
go
If Jesus
Yeah.
was around at this time, that would be enough to convince me. But the fact that Jesus was something that people just
By the way, no
wrote
need to
down.
shout.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's passion, it's passion.
Yeah, I am passionate.
Yeah.
If Jesus was around at this time, then I'd believe it. But the fact that the things that Jesus did were written down and passed down through word of mouth through thousands of years make me believe that less and less because you could hear something that I said and misinterpret it within 5 seconds of me saying it. You understand?
Yeah, but,
so
but what I'm saying is I'm talking about a different thing. For example, look,
you're saying what
you
proof would I
believe
need?
you believe that you are real, you exist.
Yes.
You believe that the universe is real,
Yeah.
it exists, right? Now, anything that begins to exist
Yeah.
must have a cause.
Yeah.
What is the cause for the universe?
As I said,
Don't say I don't know.
No,
'cause that's not an answer.
But no one knows what the cause of the universe is, as well as.
But
if-
there has to be a
but
cause.
does it have a cause?
But 100%.
Okay.
But we
Could it be the universe
but
itself?
we don't understand science enough to establish a cause. The same way that if I was to ask you what was the cause of God, because the same way you said everything has to have a cause.
Yeah.
What is the cause of God? Where did God come from?
Everything that
Okay,
begins
cool.
to exist.
I can answer that, no problem.
Cool.
But so let me
answer
get
the question.
I will. You have answered my question or you haven't yet?
What was your question?
What is the cause of the universe?
As I said, we don't have the knowledge to understand the
So
cause
you
of
don't
the
have an
universe.
answer to that. Am I
Yeah.
clear? Okay, now you ask about God. Because the universe began to exist, it must have a cause.
Yep.
God did not begin to exist. God doesn't have a cause. He is the cause.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
No, it doesn't.
Well,
Because
which part it doesn't?
But then
logically it does.
But then logically, you could say the universe always existed. It has no cause.
No,
you
because
could say the exact same
you
thing.
believe in science, right?
Yeah.
The scientists themselves said the universe began to exist 3.8 billion years ago.
Yeah.
So if you believe in science, now you're saying it could have existed forever.
But
they themselves say that the universe began to exist at 3.8 billion years ago.
But you know what's very interesting?
Okay, so it must have a cause.
But you know what's interesting? You're saying God cannot be forever, but a minute ago you said the universe was always there.
Exactly.
No.
You
No,
think
he
you
said
said-
could have been.
I didn't say was. I said could have been the same way.
Can
the
it be,
same
could,
way.
it, could it be God?
No.
Okay, 1 second. Look,
I-
it could be universe, but it could not be God.
I believe that
Your
the
God is the
idea.
universe.
I believe that the idea of a God, of a single creature responsible for everything, is very far-fetched.
Why is that?
But you
Why?
just said a
Big-
single universe could be there all
But
the
a
time.
single
I want to know why.
The single
Why?
universe is composed of billions of
Exactly.
things.
Galaxies.
Yeah. Billions of things, which
Exactly.
the more you look into, the more there is. If you look into a universe, you see galaxies, you see planets, you
All
see
created.
Yes, but if you look at God, it's just one thing.
Why
It's
is it
very far
impossible?
fucking fetched.
Why is it impossible?
If
God is all powerful.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's far fetched.
No,
That is
why
what
is
I
it
said
far
3
fetched?
times.
You know what is far fetched? To believe that the universe did not have a cause. I'm
Yeah.
not saying you're saying that,
Yeah.
because you agreed it has a cause, right?
It's the biggest
But the
magic
thing
in
is,
history.
for you to understand, look, the universe itself couldn't be the cause, right? Because it didn't exist at one point.
I mean, it could be,
Give
but
me
it's
something
far fetched
plausible
as well.
Okay, give me something plausible. What
As I
brought
said,
the universe into existence?
I'm not this educated in the subject to
But you seem
give
to
you
be
an answer.
you seem
logic and
as very
rationality.
confident
Yeah,
that God doesn't exist.
I'm a very-
But all of a sudden, when I ask you
I'm
about
a-
the universe, you have no idea.
I'm a very confident person when it comes to something that I know about.
Yeah, but it's emotional.
But
It's not reasoning.
you seem more confident in something you
it's
don't
not
know about
reason, it's
today.
emotional.
You seem more confident about not knowing something. You're
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
I don't know, but you seem very confident.
No, because when there's something where there isn't a definite answer, I am confident that there isn't a definite answer.
There is a definite answer that the universe began to exist. And if it began to exist, a being gave rise to it.
And there's no
It's
definite
simple.
answer that God is real.
There is. No, it is. It's very simple.
No, but
If
you're saying,
if
look,
the universe
you keep
began to
saying that,
exist- Yeah.
but that is from emotion, not from reasoning.
Yeah. Logically,
You
No,
don't have any
lo-
reason to say
lo-
why it doesn't exist.
Logically, there is not enough reason. It is not enough proof to back up the fact
There
that
is
God
actually,
exists.
because the universe, like I said, it is dependent, so it must have a cause. The universe began to exist. Now, what is a plausible explanation from where the universe came from? So one is, people will say that it created itself, but that's impossible because at one point
It's far-fetched. I wouldn't say
No, it's
impossible.
impossible because it didn't exist
Far-fetched.
at one point. So it couldn't have created itself. It's like saying a mother gave birth to herself.
It's like saying
it's as bad
God
as that.
just came about.
No. It's as bad as saying, listen to this. It's as bad as saying a mother gave birth to herself. Okay?
Okay.
That is not only far-fetched, that's impossible. It's illogical. Do you agree?
Respectfully, yeah, we can just agree to disagree.
No, this is impossible.
We can
A
genuinely
mother-
just agree
Okay,
to
so you-
disagree. You have different opinions.
so you
I have different
disagree-
opinions.
wait.
We can argue about this all
Hold on.
night.
Do you disagree that the mother gave birth to herself? Or do you agree with
You
that?
believe a mother can give birth to herself?
No.
Exactly, so we are in agreement. Don't say we
Okay.
agree to disagree. We
No,
agree to agree here.
About this one point, sure, but I'm saying in the grand scheme of things, whether God is real or whether the universe or whether there's a scientific backing.
It's trying to break it down for
it doesn't
why
need
it's God.
it doesn't need to have a scientific backing because science is limited. I'll tell you why.
And God isn't limited.
God is not limited, unlike science.
You know,
Because
can I just ask one question?
Yeah.
How do you know your mother's your mother?
She gave birth to me.
How do you know?
No.
that?
Let's go with
No,
science.
how do you know that?
How do you know your mother gave birth to you?
DNA.
Have you done it?
Have you done a DNA
I
test?
could do it and
Have
prove
you done it though?
I could do it and prove
So
it.
you have faith
I-
now that your mother is your mother without
You
no
believed
evidence.
it without
The
proof.
same with me. Look, the same with me. I'm not trying to be funny.
But no, but you see the difference
Testimony.
between. But the difference between that is I have faith because there is backing. Where if
What backing? I want evidence.
listen. If I wanted to prove it, I could go do a
But
DNA
at this
test and
moment in time, you don't.
I could prove
Have
it.
you?
But I could.
But have you?
But
At
no,
this
no,
point
but,
it's by
but-
faith.
Okay, at
but
this
let me-
moment, do you
but
believe
let
your
me-
mother's your mother or not?
Let me finish, okay? Because I could prove it, I have faith because I know that if I wanted to, I could prove it. The fact that God exists, I could have faith that God exists, but because I can't prove it, I'm not gonna believe in it.
So do you have faith now your mother's your mother or you
Yes.
know for certain? You have faith, you have no evidence. So if I come and say to you, scientifically, at this stage of time, your mother is not your mother until proven otherwise.
I do a DNA test.
But can I agree and say that your mother is not your mother at this moment in time until you bring a scientific evidence?
No.
So
No,
you-
because there's eyewitnesses.
You just went against science.
Also,
There's other ways of proving it
That's
except DNA.
good.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
Cool,
about.
cool.
That's called
There is
testimony.
other ways of proving something.
Cool.
Good, that's what I'm saying.
And can we-
testimony is one of those. That's what I was trying to
But
get at.
Ali, I want to ask him something. You keep saying there's no proof for God.
Yeah.
Yet you have no idea what proof you're seeking. Am I right?
To an extent.
So how can you
As
say?
I said, if I saw
How can you say there's no
if I
proof
saw
when you don't
some-
know what the proof is?
If I saw something live in the flesh, I'm not saying that there's an agenda to
Oh, you
find
need
God.
empirical evidence. Is that what he's saying?
I need.
You wanna see it?
I need physical proof.
It's called
So-
empirical evidence.
Sure.
So you require empirical evidence
Yeah.
for God. Let me ask you this. Do you have empirical evidence that you have consciousness?
I guess not.
Thank you. I'll rest my case.
Sure,
But
but
does it
but,
exist?
but,
That's
there,
the
but there's
question.
also empirical evidence that we can't.
But you believe you have
But you believe
consciousness
it, that's the point.
without
You don't smell,
empirical
taste.
evidence. But when it comes to God, you require empirical evidence.
Do you see what
Why
I'm
the
saying?
double standards?
So what we're saying is your consciousness, you cannot touch, smell, taste, feel, or hear it. Okay, so you know what we're trying to just do, guys, here today is just to make him understand, get the engine revving a bit. That's what it is, you know, and you can see very clearly, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it can be a trauma, whatever it is, but logically and rationally, there is no sense being made. There is no sense being made at the moment.
I mean,
but in the
the-
meantime, guys, please donate, inshallah. We are raising funds, inshallah. Please donate whatever you can, brothers and sisters.
Yeah, inshallah.
But yeah, alhamdulillah, it's going good so far, alhamdulillah. Yeah.
So the thing is, he keeps saying that there is no
Hold on,
evidence. There's no evidence for God. But the guy has no clue what evidence he's seeking. And at the end, he did say at least, he admitted that it requires empirical evidence. But the thing is, you don't have empirical evidence for your own consciousness. Why? Because his consciousness is from metaphysics, from a metaphysical realm. It's
On
not
that-
something which
on-
is physical.
On that point, why
My
is it
friend's
important?
here, so I gotta go.
Yeah,
It was nice talking to you,
sure.
man.
Yeah,
But-
as I said, we can agree to disagree.
By the way, do you know that your consciousness is metaphysical, not physical?
I don't know what you mean by metaphysical.
Like it's not you
Means,
can't touch
means
it,
you can't
cannot see.
examine it in a
cannot
lab
observe.
under a microscope.
Fair enough.
But you believe it anyway by faith.
Sure.
So you're not different to us. Thank you very much.
Take it.
Finally, we
Okay,
agree.
why is it so? This is,
Alhamdulillah.
okay, what we've done here today, brothers and sisters, is just to demonstrate to you one of these things in the Dawah, yeah? Which is, even he might not be convinced, but there are many people watching this that might be convinced by that. That's why it's so important at the Dawah table to answer Dawahs, give Quran, etc., the prayer mats. It's so important for us to be here, brothers and sisters, because it really aids many people, inshallah. So, yeah, we're here with Ustad Hashim and the
And
others,
yeah,
alhamdulillah.
do donate, brothers and
Whatever you
sisters,
can.
generously.